Welcome back. So in the first video, I gave you 20 positive psychology tools that you can use in your own life, become happier, improve your overall well-being, change habits, become more resilient, become even more mindful, and so on. In the second video, I gave you 24 positive psychology coaching tools. I explain every tool, what you should or shouldn't do. And I also gave you a printable forms so that you can basically just print these forms and use it with your clients if appropriate. Use it with your, if you want to coach your friends, your co-worker, a mentor or employees, and so on. But then, what if you are not a coach already? So this is really what I call, now I'm coach, now what? I'm coach, now what? So let's say you learn all these tools. It doesn't matter, is it from me, from somebody else, combination. You learn all these things in positive psychology, and you maybe even become certified. And now you go, well, I'm coach, now what? That's really what we are going to cover today. I'm coach, now what? So I'm going to help you to create or recreate your business using the tools that we learned in that first session, which was 8 sets of positive psychology tools. Then we had 8 sets of positive psychology coaching tools, and now we are moving into the business. So if you are like most of my students, you probably belong to one of the 4 categories. So let's look at what are these categories. Number 1, what you do today is not coaching. What you do today is not coaching, but guess what? You just love to coach. You love to help people. Everybody tells you what you really should do is you should start thinking about what can you do to help people officially. Can you turn this into business? This is your love, this is your passion, and quite frankly, this is $15 billion industry. $15 billion industry today. And it's just growing and growing and growing. So there's so much we can do as a coaches, right? But again, maybe today you are not coaching, but thinking about it. All right, so that's the group number 1. Let's see, what's the group number 2 of some of my students. So you may be you own a small business. And now you're thinking, well, there are some of these tools from positive psychology that there's a lot of research shows that when I learn all of this, and if I can apply with my employees, the chances are if I can help them become happier, the chances are they will become even more successful. Therefore, I, as a small business owner, will become more successful. Therefore, I will be making more money, and so on. So you might be a small business owner and just thinking about what to do with this. You might just have a full-time job. I have a lot of clients, students who basically have a full-time job. I will talk about later what to do with that. Have a full-time job, but thinking to do something, whether it be part-time or it be full-time at some point. They have a full-time job, and a lot of people I know, maybe because I'm in the industry, so not just my students, but a lot of people I know who have a full-time job and basically want to do something else, something that they truly passionate about, something that they love to do, something that is their true calling, right? Not the job, not the career, but their true calling. Maybe you're just thinking, well, guess what? How about if I can just increase my revenue as a small business? That would be nice, right? So maybe there are other avenues where I can start making even more money. Or what if you are a leader, currently, you are a leader, you are a manager, and you want to motivate your team. You want to be a better leader, then I guarantee you that some of these tools will help you do just that and lead better. Okay, so that's the group number 2 of most of my current students. The group number 3, maybe, and just maybe what you want to do is, maybe you want to start part-time job. Again, maybe you have a full-time job, but now you're thinking starting a part-time job. So what do you want to do in this part-time job? Maybe you want to do coaching. Again, we're calling this program, it is Positive Psychology Master Coach. The next level is certification. It is Master Coach, but these tools we know are applicable in so many different areas. So maybe you want to do coaching. Maybe you want to do teaching. Maybe you want to do teaching. This is really where I started many years ago. Funny enough, now that I think back, I had at one point, I had a full-time job back in Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina, former Yugoslavia. I had a full-time job. I started my own business. There was a part-time, and at the same time, I was teaching once a week in high school. So I really enjoyed the teaching. And then years later, I actually started teaching and coaching through Dale Carnegie organization. So I was globally certified Dale Carnegie coach. You might know that, but my point is, I truly enjoyed this as a part-time job, but again, it wasn't a job. It was really to teach, to help other people. I truly, truly enjoyed it. Now, maybe you want to create a course. So come up with some course creation strategy. You see, when I developed my courses years ago, it was, of course, mostly in person, right? But then moving into online, which is truly a huge industry these days, and you can, be at home, create an online course, develop a course, and start selling it. I'm doing this particular video inside my office because it's just easier to do. But I do have downstairs a studio where I record most of my programs. You don't need to have that. That's my point. You can do it in a closet. You really can do. I have a colleague, I might have mentioned, who has a very, very small apartment with 2 kids, and yet he does this all the time, creates online courses. You might want to think in webinars, either be that, a push webinar, or be that a very interactive webinar, however you like to do that. Maybe it's the workshops, maybe it's the speaking engagement. Again, a lot of ways to start doing part-time what you love to do and to incorporate the tools that we learn here. Okay, so let's see what's my group number 4. All right, so here we're also talking about existing business, but as far as existing business, we are looking at a small business and corporation. So there's a little bit difference between these two. Small business. I have a lot of clients and students who are therapists or psychotherapists, and they're learning these tools because it will help them serve their clients better. And some of them are basically moving away from psychotherapy into coaching. And the positive psychology coaching tools will certainly help them a lot. And again, I am not therapist, no psychotherapist, no counselor, but my understanding is that a lot of what I hear from my colleagues and friends, they're moving away from psychotherapy or therapy because, again, it is a lot about negative things, and we need that. Most people do, and it's absolutely fine. And we don't want to say, "Oh, this is not good." Of course, it is. We need all these professions. But my point is that some of them doing this for years and say, "Well, you know what? I was able to help clients to kind of get functional, but I really want to help them to thrive. And that's why they moving into these tools, right? Or you can do, you might have some training business. You might be a speaker. You might be an entrepreneur, mompreneur. I also have a lot of clients, and what they want to do is now inside this existing small business, they want to use these tools so that they can basically grow the business. And that's really the idea. And this could be any business. This could be any small business, any entrepreneur can basically use these tools to grow their business. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you they can grow their business. There's a reason why Google and so many large companies are incorporating positive psychology and mindfulness and resilience and so on into their programs, because they know that when they help their people will be more dedicated. They will have a sense of belonging. It seems to be one of the key reasons people leave. And they will also feel appreciated, which again is a second key reason people leave. And also, if we start using this as a leaders with our managers, the managers will do a better job, which is third, or not in that particular order, reason that people leave. It's their managers. But let's stay focused with this subject. So now let's move to corporations. So you might be working in the corporate world like I was for so many years. And who can use these tools? I developed a number of different workshops that I taught in the corporate world. And who can basically use these tools, even if it's not a workshop? Who can use it? Well, HR leaders, think about how they can improve the human resource department if you are one of them. If you're running, HR department, and or if you're HR manager or person working in HR, knowing these tools will truly help you help people. Maybe you're a manager, maybe you are, C-level executive. And if you are C-level executive, again, knowing these tools will give you a huge advantage. And what I recommend people to do, all of us, now that you are here, I know that you always want to grow. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening to me. You want to grow. And all of us that want to grow put so much effort into, thriving. And most of us then reach that point. But my suggestion here is, even if you are not there yet, if you're not C-level exec and your employee who has a young individual, doesn't matter of age, but who wants really to grow, to grow their career, to expand, to thrive wherever you are and whatever you do. My suggestion is to learn these tools. And here's why. I want to share something with you. This story just popped to my mind. And as you know, in my teaching, I'm just very flexible with the subjects. And, once we get together to do this in person or we on online, anything that you bring, we basically discuss. So there was a friend of mine who became a chief technology officer pretty quickly because he was incredible. He is incredible, so smart, so hardworking, has all characteristics of a very successful individual. But what happened is he grew, if you will, so quickly into that role. And the first time he gave a town hall, as we call it, to 400 people in a room, and I don't know how many thousands and thousands worldwide, he froze behind the podium. He was hiding. You couldn't see just his head a little bit. He tried to read it. That didn't work. He totally froze. So what I am saying now is learn as much as you can of this stuff before you become C-level exec. And if you are, learn it now. So, or maybe, like I said, upcoming leader or employee or anyone else. Really, these tools that we learned in post-psychology tools and post-psychology coaching, and then now into these business sections, are the tools that, quite frankly, anyone can use. Anyone who wants to be successful and at the same time happy. So with that said, let us move to the next thing. And what's the next thing? Well, all right. So let's think about, before we start recreating business and personal happiness, what do we think? So you got all these tools, you got post psychology tools, you got coaching tools. And here is what most of my students think. Most. If it's not you, good for you. But if you are in the beginning phase, this is what happened. Who am I to coach? Who am I to help people? Who am I to facilitate? Who am I to tell someone what to do? Which, by the way, is not coaching. When I said tell, there could be storytelling, speaking, and so on. I'm not good enough. I don't have experience. If this is something what you're thinking, it's absolutely fine, because a lot of people do. But here's what I want to tell you. Here's what I want to tell you. You have almost everything you need today. You have almost everything you need today to start coaching. And when I said everything, I don't know where you are in your coaching knowledge, if you will, right? So you might have to get some more tools and learn more. And we keep learning. I keep learning, and I will till I'm here on this beautiful planet. That doesn't stop. But it doesn't mean that I'm not good enough. I'm good enough. So are you. So here's a little surprise. As I said, you have most everything you need. Here's why. You are unique. You are the only one that has your own experience. I cannot coach the way you can. I probably cannot have the same clients that you can. I don't have your experience. I don't have your background. I don't have your upbringing. Maybe you were growing up poor, maybe middle class, maybe extremely rich. Maybe you were happy, maybe you were not happy, maybe you were depressed or extremely depressed. It really doesn't matter. My point is, you have unique experience, and that experience is what you are going to bring to the table. It is that experience that will help your clients grow. It is that experience that will help your audience grow and thrive. So please, please, please keep that in mind. I know that now that you're listening to this, maybe you are still questioning, and that's absolutely fine. I'd like you to maybe even pause this. Again, we're not teaching tools now. We're moving into this business piece, but if need be, pause it or do this a little later on. And think about your experience, write it down. And you will see, regardless what it is unique. It is unique to you only. And that is what you are going to draw from to coach, to teach, to facilitate, to tell a story, and so on. I guarantee you. Something to think about it if you're not ready, but I can tell you that if you are questioning, don't question anymore. It was, this just reminded me, I had this session the other day with one of my coaching clients. This was actually in the mastermind group. It was 5 people. And this individual, although went through full certification and created so much, the website is there, the business is there, right? So created so much already. And she started still questioning. And I said, stop it. And she started laughing. And she shared couple minutes later, a video from Med TV. And I don't have that link with me, and it really doesn't matter, but it's all about, 2 words that you can tell your client: stop it, right? So sometimes that's all we need to do: stop it and move on. Easily said than done. I know, it's not a joke for most of us, but seriously, you should not be questioning this anymore. Okay. Now that you stopped questioning, or let's move. What's the second thing that is extremely important before we move on? What's the second thing that's extremely important? It's actually funny how this was number 1 and this is number 2, right? It's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I turned them around a little bit just for fun. Okay, so let's see what's the second thing. What do you think? What do you think? I'm sure there are so many answers, right? So many great answers, and they're probably all correct. They're all correct. It just, in my view, this is what second thing is. Belief. There was a research done by Dr. Bruce Lipton, and who basically showed that when you believe in something, when you truly believe, your body, all the way down to the cell level, changes. Your body changes all the way down to the cell level. Your cells change if you believe. Same is true if you do not believe. Years ago, when Bruce Lipton came up with this research, they all thought he was crazy. They kicked him out of being a professor on university. And now, he's one of the most famous guys, and that's really what his research is. It's a belief. Well, guess what? Why do we run when we do some research and we have a medication to give to our patients, right? When the doctors have medications to give, why is it that they give one group the real medication and the other group they give placebo? Meaning just sugar pill, just placebo. It's nothing. And because they want to figure out what really helps. And guess what? Most of the time, it still comes to this. It still comes to belief. And many times, in many cases, people who got placebo pill, just nothing, improved their condition, whatever the condition is. Why did they improve it and how? It wasn't the pill, it was this. Again, same thing if you do not believe. So without going too much into this, which I often do in some other programs, I really want to start with this and then moving to belief. You really must believe that you can do this. And I'm not really kidding. This is not, I'm not just saying, hey, Thomas the Train, yes, I can, yes, I can. But that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. If you don't believe, it's almost like, well, you know what? Just don't move. Don't listen to me anymore. I'm just kidding. But seriously, very, very important. You must believe that you can do this. For some people, this is much harder to do than for others. And again, this has to do a lot with the way you grew up, with the support that you had or didn't have. I was lucky enough that I did have a lot of support. But look, a lot of people don't or didn't have support. Grew up in an environment where it was just like so difficult and there was no support from no one. And they, told them that they cannot do anything. They can't be successful in anything. Or they told them, you can do anything, my son. Just keep doing what you can do anything, right? But regardless what you were told, you can change your belief. This is just your belief. It's not the thing that you have, that I have, like this thing I have and you don't, right? But belief, you can't measure it. You can't put it on a scale. You can't drink it. You can't eat it, right? It's up here. So you can create your own, just like I created my own. Okay, so We're going from this, we're going to belief, and let's move to what's the number 3? Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one. Number 3 is credibility. And it's interesting. This actually came up. Well, it comes up many times, but when I ran my first mastermind group, this was a question from one of my members, right? He went through all this, became master coach. He started creating his own business. He started creating a website. But he said, again, this comes to who am I, right? Who am I is different. Credibility is something that you create, right? You may not have it today, and that's absolutely fine. Nobody started with, oh, I'm the most credible person. Just Google me and you'll see all my great things. Nobody started like that, right? So let's think about how do we create this credibility. And what I will do now is I will show you some free ways to create that credibility. I will show you how certain social media tools can help you to do that. So let me just look at, open up one slide, and we'll go to credibility. So let's talk about credibility. I'm going to start with one tool that you probably heard of. It's called Google. Believe it or not, it's called Google. Now, why Google? You might think, well, people Google me. Well, okay, that's that. But what I really wanted to cover is something called Google Business Page. Google Business Page, if you Google it, is absolutely free to create. It is an amazing free tool that gives you the immediate exposure to the world. Again, absolutely free. It gives you an option for your clients to publish reviews. It gives you an option to post on a daily basis. It gives you an option to basically even sell your products directly there, create the offers and so on. This is really amazing. This is again, we know the technology changes so much. At the time of this recording, Google Business Page is one of the best free little secrets that most people are not aware. So I highly recommend that you check that. It will help you with credibility. The next thing that, of course, it's called blog. It took me years. I never really understood blogging. Although I'm a published author, but I never really did blogging. It just didn't really, even the blog, the word blog didn't click with me. So, but why is this important? Why is it important for you to create some blogs? And when I said create a blog, it doesn't even need to be on your website. You could blog for other people. Like for us, we're just in the process where positive psychology master coaches will be able to actually post a blog on our website. So you can actually do this anywhere. There are so many options. And why would you do it? Because if it's a credible site and you post an article about the topic that you are teaching or coaching or speaking on, the chances are when somebody Googles your name that this blog, this website will come up. Again, free publicity, free credibility. Not free because you created this article, but I mean, come on, that's easy to do, right? Not as hard at least. The next thing, which it's been around for a long time, but it's becoming more and more popular these days, and that's podcast. Now, you might say, well, they're really not easy to create. It takes a lot of time. Yes, I agree with all of this. I agree that it takes time. It's commitment. It's time. However, you don't have to start your own podcast today. You can basically come as a guest on a podcast show. There are so many podcasters looking for guests. Again, we actually get our positive psychology master coaches come to our podcast to share their story and to promote themselves. The next thing is that will help you really a lot is speaking engagements. Now, when I say speaking engagement, if you have no credibility, what are the chances somebody's going to hire you and give you $10,000 for an hour? Probably next to zero. However, you can start creating credibility by giving some free speeches. That could be in public libraries, that could be in some small business chapters in your town, that could be doing launch and learn in corporations and so on. So again, when you established really well, I do not recommend doing a lot of these free things and free, but in the beginning, I highly recommend you do that. It will help you with credibility. What else? Let's move to some of the social media sites. Instagram, although I'm personally not big on it, just started basically, but because my audience was not there. But the Instagram, it seems to be now one of the top tools for your business, to promote your business. And when I said promote, you will have to learn that promoting doesn't mean selling, right? But it means basically getting your knowledge out there and then basically getting your clients into your mailing list. The next tool that you might heard of, social media, it's called Twitter. Now, why is Twitter so important? Here's why. If you Google anyone, the chances are the Twitter account is on page 1 and probably second or third from the top. And if this person tweets often, you will see his or her or their tweets right on that page. So again, it gives you free credibility. Is it free? It's free from, you don't have to put money, but there's always time and effort involved in any of this. The next tool is LinkedIn. And, since I've been in business many, all these years, basically, LinkedIn was one of my key tools. And LinkedIn is a very, very important social media. And again, if your clients are there, it all depends what you do. You don't have to be on all these platforms. I do suggest that be on as many as you can and then figure out where your audience is. But if you're doing anything with the business people, then LinkedIn is definitely the right choice. Now, on LinkedIn, and just like on a Facebook, which we'll move next, you can have your own personal page, which most of you do. Then you can have your business page. Then you can have a group, right, where you have a like-minded people come into the group. So that's where you can be on LinkedIn. Let's move to Facebook. You may or may not like Facebook or any of these tools. I know I do have colleagues who just kind of hate social media. And, that's another question that I should really address in the beginning. People ask, do I have to be on social media? And my answer is no, you don't. You don't have to be on social media to have successful business. Now, if you want to have a global, thriving business globally and truly thrive, the chances are you need to be somewhere on social media, right? Because that's really how the world works today. In the old days, I would do the flyer, put it a little out there, supermarket. That's really what it was. And that's how I was getting business, right? Libraries and so on. But now, do people still do it? Yes. Can you have a small local business without all these things from social media? Of course. Okay, so moving to Facebook. So you're going to create your own personal page, which you probably have. Then you can create a Facebook business page. And this is where your page is and you have your followers and so on. And you can put about your products, about your company. And then I think even the most important is, in my view, it's a Facebook group. Why? Because inside Facebook group is where you have a true followers, where you can create a true tribe, where you can truly help people. And you can actually move people from whatever you do to come to your Facebook group. Um, I recommend closed groups where you only accept people, only certain audience. In my case, it's only my students who want to join and meeting certain conditions. So we just don't want anybody to come to the group. But that's really your choice how you want to do it. The next thing is that you might have heard of. It's called YouTube. Now, you may or may not have YouTube channel, and you may or may not want to create one. However, if you do, again, it will come up probably on page 1 when somebody Googles you. So it's really, really important. Again, free marketing. Some people created an amazing business just from YouTube channel. Some created amazing business from podcast, right? So I don't know, you have to look at, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, about your business plan. But whatever you want to do, YouTube, it could be a really good place to have some of your videos stored. And the last but not least is something that's really, really important when it comes to social media. What is it? It is social media management. Think about, we just covered like 10 or so tools. And how much time would you need to spend? How much time would you need to spend to basically go and on a daily basis or whatever that is, post to all these social media sites? I mean, nobody, that would be your full-time job. You still wouldn't be able to do it. So this is why I highly recommend some of the social media management tools. Most of them are free with the limited, resources, with limited things you can do. And I suggest that try some free. I don't want to mention any now because, again, the time is changing. New tools come up, and also I don't want to promote any here. That's not why we do what we do here. So, but check them out. Look for some social media management tools, and because you will definitely need them. You will need these social media tools, social media management tools, if you get involved in more than one social media platform. So that was about credibility. Now, I see some things. Let me just move my blinds. And as I said, there's no reason to do any editing. I'm going to come back right in a second. Okay. Let's see. Any better? All right, now we have a little coming from the window in front of me. That's absolutely fine. I'm sure this doesn't bother you. Okay, so this was credibility. And now let's move on to, what's the number 4? Wow. Number 4 has a lot of things. So let's see. What do you want to do? Now we're talking business. So you want to create some additional income, right? And how are you going to do this? So many different ways. Maybe you want to do coaching. And as far as coaching, you might be enjoying one-on-one coaching. Maybe you want to create a group coaching. Maybe you want to have a both. Maybe you want to have it in person. Maybe you want to have online. Again, so many different ways to do this. The second, I don't want to say second most important, but I think really in today's world that you can start getting clients is creating the online course. Online courses are easy to create. They do not require much resources or time. You can, as I mentioned earlier, create them literally in the closet. You don't have to have the most expensive equipment, and more expensive you have, the more difficult it is to use. The more difficult it is to use, and you'll be spending a ton of time. Why I said this, because, let's grab a little water, because I know I have a professional camera downstairs, and Oh my, it just took me forever to figure it out, and I still don't know how to use it. And here I just turned this webcam quickly on, and it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So that's that. You can have some related products related to your service that you want to sell. And what I mean by related products, well, I actually have I have a client that she sells essential oil, essential oils. And what she did is she basically, because a lot of time people would come and just ask her questions, she would spend a lot of time basically coaching people. So now, why not introduce coaching into this? And so now she sells products and she sells coaching and she creates packages between these two. I have another client who sells some kind of bracelets that she connected with the coaching. So you can have some related products that you can sell on your website. You can do workshops, right? So workshops could be a public, public workshops in the that you just offer to anyone. They could be private workshops. They could be corporate workshops, and so on. So figure out where your audience is. Maybe in the beginning, where is the easiest to get audience, create a workshop for that audience and run it, right? So outside of workshops, what else can we do? We talked about corporate training. And when it comes to corporate training, this is really interesting because you could, to come back to credibility, you can basically create just like a lunch and learn and just offer to businesses in your area. So you don't travel, you don't have any expenses, maybe just like lunch that you have to pay. Yeah, I'm just kidding. If it's lunch and learn, they'll pay for lunch. Don't bring lunch, they'll pay for it. But seriously, so you can just offer these free workshops. And here's the thing. People say, well, but will I get business out of this? The chances are the same day, nobody's going to say, oh, come back and we'll pay you $30,000. They might, but they may not. But I guarantee you, if you offer enough of this, first of all, you are establishing your credibility. And second of all, you will get business. As long as you're consistent, you will get business. You will get business. And then, maybe you want to do executive coaching. I have a client who's a little older gentleman, done so much throughout his career, and executive coaching is like, no-brainer for this individual to do. So there are so many different things that you can do to create some additional income. Now, what are the channels? So we talked about YouTube, podcast, and blog, and now I want to add a newsletter. And when I said channels, remember I mentioned earlier that so many folks created a huge business out of just being on YouTube, out of just doing a podcast, or creating a newsletter, right, which started years ago, but doing it the right way. Believe it or not, newsletter is actually coming back as a product or service, so that many websites, actually including, I believe, Facebook and maybe Google, are now introducing newsletter as a new product. So a lot of things are, coming back, and there are so many different ways to create income. This could be just one way or a combination of everything that we talked about earlier. All right. And now let's look at audience and let's look at sale. And let me just put this little thing here. Okay. So what do we want to look at here? We want to look at, here's the audience. And we talked about, where do we get audience? Well, we get it on social media. We get it on blog. We get them on podcast, on newsletter, on email, on, speaking engagement, launch and learn, book if you publish it. So we get audience from all these different places. And what most people don't do well is they don't know how to take this audience somewhere and basically create a sale. How do we do that? Again, this is not marketing course right now in sales, but overall, the idea what you really want to do is you want to take people from everywhere and have what they call one funnel. They come into one central place. And ideally, that central place is your email list. That's probably the most important thing that you can have as a business owner. Again, you might be starting with this big email list, and that's absolutely fine because everybody did. But that's really what you want to do. You want to move them there. Now, as far as sale, right? So that could be online course, but you may get people from social media, from your email list, from your blog, from your Google business page, from your podcast, from your Twitter, everywhere to come and basically take your online course. What if you are creating or created an online course? And what you do is in the beginning, it's complicated to have, although it's much easier these days, right? It's much easier these days, and we should just ask me questions and I can explain that later more. But it is, like I said, it's much easier these days. There are some business platforms that allow you to easily incorporate all of this. And again, we use Kajabi. Full disclosure, I'm a partner there. So when you basically use some of my or our links, we make a couple of bucks. Full disclosure, of course, partnership with Kajabi. But the reason the only one we partner with is because we love it. And why is because, yes, I had courses on marketplaces, and yes, I might still have some on at least one marketplace. But the point starting with marketplace is because it's so inexpensive, it doesn't cost you basically anything except putting your course, giving them right to sell it, right? So that's the easiest, quickest way to start. Is it my recommended way? No, but it all depends. If you say, hey, Brad, so I have like no money, I'm hardly paying the bills, I don't know what to do, then go for it. If you say I have this much, then let's talk about maybe there are other ways, smarter ways, long term, right? The reason you might know the reason I did it differently for all these years is because for like last 10, 15 years, this was just fun for me. This was just my true calling, my passion. I did it like once a week. I was teaching, I created online courses to help other people, but I didn't need additional income. Now, can you have your true calling and still have a business? Of course. I love this. I love what I do. This is my true calling. But now that I left the corporate world, I do need additional income, which means I need to pay my bills too. So now I am doing a lot of things that I'm teaching you to do now. And I wish, if I did this 15 years ago, I basically didn't even have time, even if I wanted to, because again, my focus was full-time job. It depends what your focus is or what you want it to be. But basically, again, this is, you can look at where your audience is, and you can look at where the sale can come, and you can, then think about how do you want to handle this. And this is really from, this is from, hey, what can I do to create additional income? And we covered a lot of ways to create additional income. Okay. What are we moving to now? Let's find out. I don't know. It says 5. Okay, what is 5? Sorry about that. Okay, number 5 says, what do I need to do to get started? Oh my God. So many different things. Let's be honest. This is not going to happen overnight. I just talked to my friend. Let's just say her name is Maria last night. And she's basically doing a lot of these things. She's not my client. She was my student at one point, but just as a friend. So I'm not coaching her or anything. But she basically has a marketing company that does most of these things for her. And I just want to tell you that it's very expensive to do it right. And if you have all that money, just go for it. Go for it. Do it right. But if you want to go slow, then you may want to do a lot of things yourself, at least in the beginning. This is what I recommend to everyone. Learn all these things, and then you can pay. But if you just give somebody, hey, here's your $50,000 and start the business, do all of this for me, they'll maybe do it right. But the point is, you will know nothing about it. That's not how we create successful business, at least in my opinion. So let's move to what do I need to do to get started? Well, first thing is branding. Now, what do I mean by branding? Before I tell you what I mean by branding, I'm going to have a sip of water. Because as I told you earlier, this is not easy. I have no break. I just talk. All right, just kidding. But let's move on to branding. What is branding and what do we mean by that? Well, it really, if you Google it, you'll find so many definitions, but it really consists of so many different things. I'd like you to think about what is your vision? What is your mission? Why are you doing this? Who are your ideal clients? And when you answer these basic things about branding, then only then you can go, well, what are the colors? What's our logo? How are we going to go on the market? How are we going to market ourselves? What is really our brand? What do we sell? What do we sell? So that's really, and you can do like a lot of like basic things really yourself in the beginning. You don't, again, unless you have a lot of money, branding is the things that you are going to create because it's the only you who knows what your brand, what you want this brand to be. The next thing is, and again, they're not in particular order, but the next thing is to come up with a business name. Now, what's in the name? Look, there are so many different ways. You actually, well, we'll talk about that later, but there is one program that you'll get it where we talk about naming and vision and mission and leadership and so on. So as far as name, I guess there are two different ways, maybe. I mean, this is not really easy to say, but kind of like basic two different ways. One way is the name that doesn't really says anything, but it sounds so good. Google, Yahoo, when they started, we didn't really know. There's a reason they come up with these names. Coca-Cola, right? There's a reason they come up with these names. But when you start, the question is, do you want to come up with a name like that? Or do you want to have a name that says it all? It's your call, right? Does your name want to basically says exactly what you're doing? I had a company, High Impact Consulting. Then we changed it, High Impact Consulting, Coaching and Training. Long name, but says it all. Says exactly what we do. But it's your choice what you want to do. But you do have to come up with a name. And please don't do like one of my clients. She took forever just to come up with a name. Again, it's important. And if you Google, and again, I don't know, how much money they had in the beginning. But if you have a time to do it right and when I say do it right, to do so much research and spend so much money, yeah, go for it. But if you just want to get started, please just come up with a name that makes sense. And if you have to rebrand it later on, you can do that. Okay. From name, now we have a name. We know what we're going to do. Well, at least we know what our brand is. Now we won't need to register our business, right? Business registration, regardless where you are in the world. If you're in US or if you are in one of the, in any of the 180 or so countries where I have my students, the chances are you will need to register your business because your government wants to get some money as well. So business registration is extremely important. What kind of business? How are you going to register? Do you want to be like in US? You can be, doing business as sole proprietorship. Is it limited liability company? Is it limited liability partnership? Is it corporation? S corporation, C corporation. You have to do your own research. Easy things to do is to set up LLCs in US. Very, very simple to do. I actually had 24 at one point, so they easy to set up. You can do it yourself. Okay, so that's the business name. Business name, and now we registered the business, right? And what's the next thing? Well, we registered the business. We're going to have some money coming in, right? Hopefully a lot of money coming in. But before the money starts coming in, where the money is going to go, you need to have a business account, right? So you need to have a business, here in US, there's a business checking account. Again, don't know how it works in your country, but you need to have a business bank account, basically, where the money should come or where the money should go from, right, for your expenses. And that comes to another, which is all that income and expenses and the books, but you will need to do that. And in the beginning, it's really easy to do it in Excel spreadsheet. Okay. So from bank account, we're going to move to your business plan. Without business plan, nothing happens. Nothing happens. You don't have a business. So you have to have a business plan. You have to have the vision and mission and what are you trying to accomplish and what is your plan for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 5. Will it change? Of course. Will you meet all the targets in your business? Probably not. But it's fine that changes. That's why it's called plan, but you must have one for so many different reasons. But the main reason is for yourself, for your business to grow. Okay, from the business plan, where are we going then? We are going to business vision and mission. We talked about it. We're going to budgets and projections. Every business, even if it's non-for-profit, has to have a budgets and has to have projections. Without the business projection, without knowing or projecting how much money you're going to bring in revenue, year 1, year 2, year 3, on monthly basis, on quarterly basis, you have nothing. What are you going to compare with? And honestly, if it's going to be 0 year 1, that's absolutely fine. I'm not saying they may not be fine for you, but my point is from projections, you just need to outline. I do it on a monthly basis, and I look at all these revenue streams, all the income streams, and I project the amount, and I project the time spent. These two are very important, amount and time spent, right? Because you don't want to have in percentage, right? So you have amount, and that translates to percentage of total income, and then you have time spent, because you don't want to have 5% of your total income spending 70% of time. So you have to look at this each one carefully so you know where to move your time and resources. That's really, 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 really important. Okay, now we're moving to your platform. And if you are doing one-on-one coaching and you're going to do it in person or you're going to do it online, It's almost like you can start today. You don't need anything, right? But if you want to have a global presence and you want to teach and coach and speak and so on globally, then the chances are you will also need a business platform. And I say business platform because don't think of this just let me have a website. I've done this so many times, and most, if not all the time, it was wrong. Because if you want to create a business, then you have to have a business platform. Again, talked to another friend the other day and said, she told me somebody else is doing now business platform for her, and they're going to have 5 different platforms connected to do what they want to do. My immediate answer, which I didn't give her, because again, she wasn't my coaching client, so you have to kind of be careful with the friends, especially because she put so much money into it. Don't do it. You don't want to have 5 different things connected because one break and then the other one, they just keep blaming each other. Try to have one platform on as many, to do as many business functions for you as possible. You will see, right now you might just be thinking coaching. Then you're going to have online course. Then you're going to have some products, right? Then you need to have the way to pay. Then you need to have some projections. Then you might have a membership. Then you may want a podcast. Then maybe you want a newsletter. And if you think of, and again, full disclosure, Kajabi is our partner. That's why we chose them, because we can do everything there. If you have some questions, let me know about that. But that's really, really important, that you have one platform, or try to have one platform that does everything for you, for your business. Okay, so email list is huge, and we can spend days talking about this. But I want to tell you that if everybody tells you don't worry about, just be everywhere on social media, tell them that I said that's not good enough. Why? I mean, look, you don't own nothing on social media. You might have 100,000 followers or millions, and that account could be shut down like this. They could just close it and without explaining anything to you. So again, you own nothing. You don't need to be there. You need to spend the time, but you need to try to bring the folks from there into that funnel, into one place. And everybody should come into that one place. So please, please, please keep that in mind. Very important. But again, building that email list is the key to your business. It really is extremely, extremely important. Okay. So we talked about social media, and now we want to talk about a social proof. What's a social proof, you might say? Well, social proof is basically your clients giving you your reviews, right? Giving you testimonials, believing truly in you, knowing they got so much value from you, trusting that your product is one of the best on the market and so on. So as you develop your product, as you start selling it, as you start having more and more clients, then developing that social proof is extremely important. Now, we have another issue where social proofs are on so many different places. So here's one on Google, there's one on Facebook, right? There is one maybe on LinkedIn, there is one on your marketplace, there's one on your website. So now the next level, which we don't have much time now, but keep this in mind. The next level is, how can you bring all of this together? How can you get your social proofs from many different places and funnel them into one and show them on your own, let's say, website? So they all come there from all these different sources. That's the next thing once you have a social proof that you need to work on. Please take notes of this. I mean, there's just so much we covered. I wish I said in the very beginning, take notes, but I'm sure you are taking the notes. So it's really, really important that you have a social proof and that you also bringing that social proofs from different channels into one funnel, into one place. And the last but not least, what's really important? What's really important is for you to create a community, for you to have your own tribe, for you to have a people who trust you, who follow you, who will come ask you questions, who you will help. This is, again, it's not about sale, but it is about indirect sale. If you think about it, everything we do, I mean, not everything, but most things we do in life, it's a sale. You know, we sell to our kids what they should or shouldn't do. We sell them lunch, we sell them dinner. We sell to our partners, you know, where we're going to go on vacation. I mean, we keep selling all the time. We don't think of sale, but that's really what we are doing. So, but again, it's indirect sale, but you shouldn't be thinking about sale. You should be thinking, how can I help these people? And that's something you should be asking yourself every morning. And this, I know this is not the first time I say this. Every morning, what else? What can I do to help my tribe? What can I do to serve my clients? If you keep asking that questions, trust me, clients will come. Go to the belief, clients will come. Clients will come. But it comes with the hard work. They don't just come because you ask that question. They come because you answer those questions every day to the best of your ability, and you keep helping your clients, and that's why they come. So we covered a lot today, right? We covered a lot, from who are my students, what do they do, to all these different things that we want to do to help us create our coaching business. And, you know, with that said, I like to move to full positive psychology master coach certification program and just tell you a little bit about that. First of all, I really, really, truly hope that you gain a lot from this free program. I hope that you gain and you learn a lot of tools to help you become happier, improve your overall well-being, become even more successful, and have a great life, have a good, meaningful life. I also hope that all the coaching tools that we covered, they help you be a better coach. They help you to deal with your clients today and or in the future. And I'm hoping that some of these points that we covered also today help you to, if nothing else, start thinking of your business and or start thinking how you can use all these tools and start using them today. Start using them today to help people. So that's really what we kind of learned. But so what is the next step? So the next kind of normal, natural step in my world is to basically for you to receive a full positive psychology master coach accredited certification. Life Success Academy is an accredited organization, and our program is an accredited program, globally accredited. What does that mean? You'll find more information on the website. But what it really means is that we must follow a very, very strict guideline in order to develop, create, and facilitate our programs. So we must follow extremely, extremely tight guidelines, and we cannot deviate from that, which means that you're really getting, the best that there is out there. And also what it means is that, with our programs, you get continued professional development credits and or continuing education. There's different names in different countries. Again, you can find more on our website. But with this particular program, with Positive Psychology Master Course Certification, because it's huge, it has like 9 full certification programs by itself. And I'll go to details more. But because of that, we are allowed to, we basically give 180 continuing professional development credits, 180. So that's really, again, it's great for folks who need to re-certify certain, if they are in certain professional organizations to continue become members. But it's also, even if you don't need it today, it will be something great that you can use later on in life, that you can show your credibility to your clients, that you can show credibility to your employers, and so on. Again, more information on the website about that. So that's about credits. Now, we have thousands of students all over the world. And the problem I see is that students who take only online course, what happened is that, I know that a lot of them, for a lot of them was amazing experience and really helped them change their life or change their business, which I'm so grateful for. But also for a lot of them, they don't have a stake in it. They can just come in anytime, they have, listen to it, which is fine, but they don't have a guide. They don't have a coach. They don't have somebody who can walk them through step by step, somebody they can ask questions, somebody they can, come anytime and say, hey, what do I do with this? Hey, I have this problem with a client. What do I do? And so on. I'm starting this business. What do I do? I'm putting this website. What do I do? So they don't have that. And I kind of feel bad. And so that's why, this integrated learning where you are part of this community of folks who are doing not just online modules, but also in person is really, really important for us, and I hope for you as well. So here you will learn, and then you will contribute. You will get feedback from me for every assignment, for every final assignment, I should say, because there are 9 final assignments that you will have to create a presentation that will be basically client ready, that you can use in your business or in your future business. And then, you're going to practice, you're going to ask questions, you're going to get answers. And what I would say now is that, you invested so much of your time and effort and energy so far. And, even if you just watched all what I presented, all these hours, I looked at the forms, and I'm sure you did so much outside of this. I would just say that there's no way back. I'm hoping for you there's no way back. I'm hoping for you that you will just continue and get all of this rolling into your life and into your business. I'm hoping that what you did is that you will own your future. You will own your future business. You will own not just this knowledge, skill, attitude, but the next step that you truly should, and you truly own it, that your successful life and your successful business. PPMC and what you're gonna get, these credits, you're also gonna be getting marketing materials. So all the seals, badges, everything that you can use in your own marketing and branding will be actually there for you. As you create these final presentations, and trust me, just don't be scared. We will help you. We actually have a coaching and training assistant who will help you to get your presentations. There will be 9 live sessions with me, and then there will be 9 live sessions with your accountability partners. So it's 18 minimum sessions, and often there's more. And I don't want to say much just that, but often there's more. And so you're talking about 18 sessions. You will be part of the closed, secured workplace. This is not Facebook, might be developed by Facebook, but it's not Facebook, it's not any of these tools, but it's basically just a closed group where only positive psychology master coaches from the previous cohorts, and you from this new cohort will have access to it. And basically, you will have access to all these previous, to all the post psychology master coaches who graduated already, who are also there to help. There will be a live graduation, that's one thing I love, where we have a long graduation. We invite guests. You can have your family, your friends, your colleagues, your managers, your direct reports, whoever come. They can watch a live stream, or they can come and be part of the program, which is really, really fun. You'll be also, at the end of when you graduate, well, first of all, if something happens and you can't graduate, I'm sure you saw that on the website, we can just roll you over to the next cohort. So that's no problem at all, no charge. You just, as long as you are LSA member, you just move to the next cohort. But you will also be eligible to apply for Positive Psychology Master Coach Mastermind Group. This is a very small 4 to 6 people group where we focus for 6 months doing all of this, right? And getting you to start that business and start making money and getting clients. So that thing is totally business related. No more tools, because you got them all. That's a business, right? That's just a business. Okay, and then of course you will be getting a discount for the mastermind. Now, there are a number of bonuses, and I'm sure they somewhere on the website. But I do know that you will be getting one-on-one coaching session with me. This will be based on my availability, your availability, but we will schedule one-on-one coaching session where I will look at your current plan, what you want to establish, and we'll make the business plan or personal plan, depending what you're working on going forward. So that's exactly what we are going to do in that coaching session. You will get the entire outline, what's getting there. What else? There will be you will be getting another program that's not part of this. That's the online course that I believe is listed at $200. That's the creating your vision, creating business and personal vision and mission statements. So that's one course. And then you will be getting another course, which is Leadership Essentials, which is also, I believe, about $200 course that you'll be getting as a part of the bonus. I do know that you'll be getting a certain percentage off regular price, which you will find it on the website, and there are some other bonuses that you will see. But as you know, there is a limited time that you can sign up to get all these bonuses. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will certainly address them. Listen, thank you so much. This was such a pleasure, such an honor to serve you, to help you, regardless what you want to do with this knowledge, regardless if you want to continue study with me, it's really not important. What's important is that you please, I beg of you, just use what we learn. Use the tools and improve your life. Improve the life of people around you. If you have clients, use the tools we learn, help them live better and more satisfying and meaningful life. If you have a business or you're starting to create one, please think of what we said about business and start using some of the tools and start implementing the ideas that we gave you. So with that said, again, pleasure. I'm hoping I will see you in the PPMC certification, but if not, that's absolutely fine. You can absolutely get back to me, reach out to me anytime. You know my info. You even, I believe, you have my cell phone number, and if you don't, let me know. I'll send it to you. You have all my social accounts and so on. So please feel free to reach out. I am here, this beautiful planet, to help people like you grow, to help people like you thrive, and to help people like you help other people. So we as a community, as a member of this beautiful planet, can grow together. Thanks again. Such a pleasure. And I hope to see you soon.